So this video response is going to be a little different. Only different so far as I found this video on Twitter and Instagram, not really so much YouTube. But we're going to be doing a video response to Brittany Renner. Now, I found this video by actually seeing a clip of it on Twitter, and it actually kind of reminded me a lot of Jordan Peterson, which is strange to say, but just follow me. Well, Jordan Peterson is a very intelligent guy and says a lot of, smart and rational things, but sometimes the things he says are so, basic, but people tout it as, beautiful nuggets of wisdom that I just kind of seem a little meh about. And that was a clip here from Brittany Renner's video where she just says something that's so, well, at least I assumed is so basically obvious that I'm not really particularly sure why anyone thought that it was so wise and wonderful. As for me, I just thought, hey, that's just some stuff you're supposed to do anyway. I don't know, but we're going to be taking a look at it. Don't worry, I'm going to highlight the part that I saw, but we're going to go through the whole video because I got some stuff to say. How about that?
A lot of people have been asking me, when are you going to settle down? Are kids in the cards? Are either one of these things thoughts that you have? Okay. Let me start off by saying having a husband or a family does not validate me as a woman. Okay?
And I'll say that that is a really good thing. The only thing is, my friend, Brittany, you're getting older. Your birthday's coming up. You're hitting, I think, 28, 29? Somewhere around there. The long and short of it is, as young ladies get older, it does become more difficult for them to find the men that they want. And I don't even mean that in quotations. I want to underline that word, want. It's not so much it's hard for them to find men, just the men they want. So it's really important, or at least there's a lot of encouragement from people who are, red pill, MGTOW, kind of manosphere minded, that women should use the time that they're young and fertile to attract men to them and then reproduce with them so they don't have to worry about the wall, so to speak. There is a biological functional wall as which it will become harder up to a point where you just can't conceive anymore in general. And it is a fear that a lot of young ladies actually hold. It's interesting that there are some women who are self-aware enough to recognize that as they get older, it does become more difficult for them to find the men that they want to date and want to be in long-term relationships with. My friend Brittany, I think it's good that you're not validated by, family, having a husband and children. But you are going to have to consider that if you do want those things, it's going to be more difficult for you as you get older.
Okay, there's that. Second of all, time is an illusion.
Is time an illusion so far as we cannot see or hold time, but we can most certainly experience time. And time can most certainly experience us. Does that make sense?
And I am not going to have a kid based on what outside pressures want me to do for the sake of not being seen as being crazy.
And that's good. The only thing is I want you to separate the outside pressures and all the people's opinions and recognize that biologically and socially, my friend, getting what you want, if that is what you want, will become more difficult. So you should consider that consciously, but I will agree that it is a good idea to not do so simply to appease people. But it is a legitimate worry you should consider as you grow older as a young lady.
There is no rush. The older I get, the more I understand that.
I think you get the point. I hope you get the point.
When I was 21, I thought, hey, at 25 years old, I'm probably going to at least have somebody in my life and maybe a kid by then. That'd be the perfect time. And thankfully, it didn't happen for me at 25.
You say thankfully, but my friend, you do realize that you could have had that if you just picked a good person to date, right? I read your book. You are not very good at that whole mate selecting thing.
Because I was with a gaslighting prick.
Now, I know some people might say that I'm victim blaming here, but my friend, you were the one you picked them. You could have just picked someone that wasn't a gaslighting prick. Considering how attractive and popular you are, how many people would legitimately say no to you if you approach them? Honestly. Like, seriously. Probably like 1% of males in the world will probably be like, nah, I'm not gonna at least have a conversation with Brittany Renner. You know what I mean? Even if you were like just unknown, like come on, dude. Like you could pretty much have anyone you wanted. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing that's funny to me is society wants you to respect yourself, love yourself, queen, right? And when you start doing that, everyone looks at you and is like, God, like you have to stick up your ass. Like, why are you like this? Like, you need to come up off them standards a little bit.
Now, there are two ways of which one could interpret what it means to respect yourself. There's the more Christian ideal, for young ladies in particular, of remaining to be a virgin until you find a man who is worthy enough to insert his member inside of your, you know, area. And then there's the feminist ideal of respecting yourself, which is to give reckless abandon to the principles and ideals of sexual exclusivity and just have a bunch of sex with anyone and everyone. And that should be totally fine and okay because we're sex positive and sex is good. That could also be interpreted as respecting yourself. Though based on context clues, I assume that what you mean by respect yourself is elevating what you believe or what you think you should be treated as by, I will also assume, as young men. Your ideal of like respecting yourself is having incredibly high standards of men, and men who are beneath that are not worthy of your time and affection. I assume, based on the fact that you said something about standards, but I could be wrong here, and I'll concede if I am.
You know, and it's like, okay, so do you want me to love myself or do you want me to conform to what it is you think I should be?
I mean, those aren't technically mutually exclusive. I mean, what they want you to be could be you loving yourself in a committed, stable relationship. Which is my point in bringing up the fact that simply saying respect yourself doesn't really indicate what you mean by that or what ideal you are rejecting or arguing against. I don't really know. I'm just saying that those two ideas are not mutually exclusive. You can be a respectful individual in a loving relationship with a man who treats you well, and you could be adhering to their standards while loving yourself.
And it's not a question because there's only one answer I'm choosing, okay? I'm very non-traditional, but I would like that part of my life to be more traditional.
Then, like, pick someone off of Instagram, Twitter, Tinder, down the street, Starbucks, Taco Bell, like, you're Brittany Renner. Just go talk to some dude. Like, it's not even a challenge. What do you even...
Everything in life is forever changing, and there is nothing that is guaranteed. So I could do everything right. I could date someone, we get engaged, we get married, we have a family. And that doesn't exempt me from still being a single parent.
Well, based on what you said, that would ipso facto exempt you from being a single parent because you would be married with your husband. Okay, I'm being cheeky. I know what you mean. You mean that it wouldn't prevent you from getting a divorce at some point in time. And while it's true that technically that could happen, I mean, I guess anything really could happen. You can't really live your life based on what could happen because then you wouldn't do anything. You would never change or evolve or grow or do anything for that matter. So sure, you could end up a single mother if you found someone that you could marry or date, but the idea of mate selecting well is to avoid all of that in its entirety. And the entire point of dating people is to screen them for marriage in the first place. I mean, a lot of people don't date to do that, but that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to date people to say, hey, I can't have a functioning relationship with you. Sorry. Instead, people like become emotionally tied with individuals that treat them like shit, and then they try to fix them when really they should let them go.
So I don't think that there's a foolproof way to go about any of these things. I think when it's meant to happen for you, it will happen for you.
That's a particularly feminine mindset that I'm not a big fan of. Because, like, that's the mindset of, like, attractive women who just have a lot of guys, like, trying to date them. They just be in an area, and guys will try to date them. So they think that this is how it should be. They should just wait for the right guy to come along through the sea of the thousands of offers that they get. The only problem with that is you are, ironically, not as powerful as I once perceived you to be. Because that means you are never able to get exactly what you want. You are at the mercy, which is a good word, of the market forces of men who are bold enough to throw their offer out to you. The men who could be honorable and kind and reasonable may not approach you because they respect your time and place, or they listen to all that feminist nonsense that a lot of young ladies are painting out to them, that women are not fans of catcalling or street harassment or approaching them in the street. So what I'm saying is, if you wait on this idea as a young lady that whatever happens will happen, passively going through life, you could miss out on dating incredibly good men if you just go chat with good people, you know, at the library or something, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. This is an option. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you gotta learn how to spit game, ladies, but I'm just saying that you probably should learn to spit game.
I want to be with someone who respects me and loves me the same way I do them.
And being an attractive woman, there is nothing stopping you from obtaining that. Except you. So maybe you might want to, you know, think about that for a little bit.
Everyone's like, oh, every guy cheats. Okay, well, if every guy cheats, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life because I cannot.
That is pure unadulterated bull, because I've never cheated on anyone ever. I mean, I only had one girlfriend, but I didn't cheat on her, so... If you have this mindset that every guy cheats, the problem is you're just only dating men that have the option and availability to cheat. I guarantee you, if you dated a guy that had low social status and a lot of women weren't particularly attracted to, he wouldn't have the option to do so. See, the problem being, that a lot of women don't recognize, is that because they're always trying to date the best possible male in a given environment, he always has the option and availability to cheat and be disloyal. It's your job as a young lady to recognize that inevitable fact of the world and pick people who are honorable instead of picking people who are in high demand. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And I will not. I can settle down, but I can't settle.
That's kind of what I mean here. You, for some reason, have like an inflated... I say for some reason. I mean, you know, you're Brittany Renner, right? You know, but it seems that you believe that you need a lot that you probably don't really actually need, and you probably could be fine with just dating someone who is just okay, just like an okay human being. But lots of ladies think that they deserve the absolute world mostly because they've been gassed up to believe so. But you could just date some guy that works at the post office, honestly, if you really wanted to. But you don't. That's what the real issue here is. You know, come on.
I never was with a guy that I looked at and was just like, wow, I cannot wait to have a son like you. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, fucking demon ass baby. Like, there's no way I could ever be tied to you for the rest of my life. Let me go swallow this plan B really quick.
This is the nugget of wisdom that I was referring to earlier in the video. I find it strange that anybody... I found it strange when I was... No, I still find it strange. It's still kind of stupid. But this... strange thing that ladies do is that they'll date absolutely abhorrent and terrible human beings, and then in hindsight they're like, well, why did I do something like that? Or in hindsight they're like, oh, he was so awful and bad. And I just always sat here like, well, dude, I mean, you picked him. I've got nothing for you. You picked him. It's like, it's strange to me that, and I saw this on Twitter, like people were like, yes, queen, thank you for saying that. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, but shouldn't you have like considered that? I don't know. Shouldn't that have been by itself a reason to end the relationship? Like, the fact that you think to yourself that it would be bad if he impregnated... Like, wouldn't that... I guess not. Yeah, continue.
You know, even when I was reckless, I was still cautious, right? But I would want, I guess, above all, to be with someone who cares about me. And if we didn't end up together, at least... be with a man that I wouldn't mind having a son like.
Yeah, that's that passive feminine mentality I'm not a particular fan of. My friend, if you want what you want, then get it. If you want a good man, then go and get one. Why passively wait in your ivory white stone tower guarded by a dragon, which in this metaphor is all the emotional pain and torment you put yourself through, now protects you from the men that will protect you. Know, actually, that's actually a really great analogy for what it's like trying to date women in 2K20. It's like you gotta go slay a dragon of their own creation from all the shitty decisions that they made.
And of course, in true Pisces nature, I want the fairy tale. I don't care if you don't think the fairy tale is real. What my fairy tale is in my mind and what yours is might be different. So you might think that you're never going to get the fairy tale. Well, I might not get the fairy tale from you, but someone's going to give it to me. Okay, I believe in staying aligned with what I want, and if it comes, it comes.
Yeah, but that's like an incredibly passive mindset that I don't encourage anyone to have. It's a particularly feminine one, and I understand why you ladies have it, if you're attractive at the very least. But I would encourage that maybe you guys should not have that mindset and go get the people that you want to date because you want to be happy. I'm just...
Either way, all I can do is stay aligned with what I want and see what happens. You know, I'm a manifestor, I'm a creator, I'm a witch. Where there's a witch, there's a way. A relationship and kids, that's a luxury. I'm not entitled to that.
You know, it is indeed true I spent most of this video disagreeing with her, but I will give her props for her admitting that these are actually bonuses to life, and she has to earn them in some capacity. Or, I guess, trip and fall and kind of stumble into that fairy tale notion she has in her mind. Either way, I'm giving her points for at least admitting that, you know, she just shouldn't be birthed that just because she exists.
Of the actualities I've had to face as a single, independent, self-sufficient woman is if I am not willing to tolerate certain behaviors, toxic behaviors, that our society normalizes, that I could very much be on my own.
My friend, I'm going to have to stop you right there. I'm not a big fan of you saying that society normalizes these toxic behaviors. Maybe it kind of does, but either way it goes, you know, considering the fact that you're a human being with a functioning cognitive system, you can pattern recognize them and avoid them. And pick the good people out of the ones that you've deselected. Why you decide that it's a better idea to just wait around for this to occur and happen to you is beyond me. It just must be the perks of being a pretty woman. I don't know.
For the rest of my life. And I might not get certain things because I'm not willing to tolerate bullshit.
And that is incredibly strange to me, my friend, because you don't have to tolerate any of this stuff. How about you just go date an accountant that's nice and swell and just okay to be around? You won't do that. And I know why you won't do it. I just think that you should recognize why you won't do it and let that be the reason why you have all of these issues. And it has nothing to do with society. You.
That's a very real conversation I think every woman should have with themselves.
Yeah, it is a very real conversation every woman should have with themselves. They should really look in the mirror and think to themselves, yeah, am I really overestimating the type of men that I deserve? Is the type of man I deserve really someone with actually good characteristics that make a relationship well? Or is it someone that just validates me and makes me feel better about myself? Yeah, that's a conversation I think everyone really needs to have, but women especially. Well, that's basically about the end of her video, and subsequently the end of mine. The reason why I wanted to go over this video is not really so much to directly respond to Brittany Renner. I highly doubt that she'll ever check this video out. But more to the ladies that kind of have the same mentality that she possesses. Now, it isn't really so much what she outright said, but a lot of what she heavily implied. And I think that there's a couple of things that we need to summarize here. Number one, you shouldn't date terrible people that you don't want to have children with, because the entire point of dating people is to screen them for marriage, and the whole point of having a marriage is to regulate the responsibility that parents have over their children. You should think critically about the individuals that you are interacting with in a sexual or romantic way up to that point. Now, for some reason, a lot of people don't ever intellectualize the purpose to this degree, but I think that that is one of the biggest reasons why so many people are lost. So I would suggest that you young ladies kind of think critically about your standards and ask yourself, are you actually looking for individuals who are going to be wise and treat you well? Because honestly, there is no shortage of fantastic men who will do that. There's like no shortage at all. They're just not incredibly attractive and rich and have a lot of capital and social. Maybe the issue, my friend, is the fact that your standards are a little ridiculous, and not that there aren't a lot of fantastic human beings around you. I'm just saying. So that being said, I just hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, man, go and click the like button. That's true, go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. And I'll see you cool cats. Adios.